Yo, what's going on, everybody? Uh, I have some crazy GME stuff to show you tonight. So, the reason I bring up this picture, okay, I don't have the actual, I would post my meme here, but I don't actually have it. But the reason I have this picture up is because of this. Okay, so what is this and how do you actually read it? Okay, so this is a whale watch for GME. Okay, so these white lines in the middle or white dots in the middle, okay, represent a neutral, okay, position. Okay, so if you're kind of teeter tottering around it, it's kind of just neutral. All right. The moment it starts to drop off, okay, that indicates a bearish or exit signal. Okay. And if you cross above the white line, okay, that indicates a bullish, okay, position. So someone's building a bullish position. Okay, so what do we see here? We see at the start of the week of 0918, okay, you had a sharp sell off of the 20 Cs, and the rest of them are kind of just in the middle, okay, which is this, it is what it is. All right, and then you start to see the 19s kind of build up. All right, so some people were like, okay, so someone started loading up on the 19s, but it's not like massive, right? You can see on your axis here, the net premiums in the millions. So it's not that much. And then throughout the week, we start to see some lines go down, lines go up, but it wasn't that significant. All right. So something that would catch your eye is definitely the 21, right? Because you start to hit almost a million in premium. Okay. The 19 kind of just, I don't know, it is what it is. It's just stagnant. Okay. And then the 25s, it was kind of, going up, going down, going up, going down. And it was kind of neutral, right? And same with the 22s. It was just a wave. All right. It tried to, if it did break above this white line, it would be, indication that someone is building a strong position in those calls. All right. Now, this last part right here, okay? Do you see this vertical line? Okay, this is not a joke. This is like literally not Photoshop. It's literally a straight line, and then all of a sudden, boom, to the moon. Okay, this is someone that believes GME will go up. Okay, this is a strong indication that someone believes that GME will go up. Okay, so the 25s, it literally did nothing for pretty much a whole week or two. Okay, then all of a sudden, boom, a strong, sharp move to the upside. Okay, so the 20Cs, same thing. Although it did not break this white line, okay, this whole move right here, okay, is really, really bullish in of itself, right? So you got a straight line, so this is basically doing nothing, and then a vertical line to the top side. Now, here's what I want you to look, okay? So I go back to this meme. Okay, oh wait, that was not the right one. Here, okay? This was sometime in May 2022. Do you remember what happened in May 2022? Okay, so if you are new or don't remember, okay, DFV was building a strong position in those 20 Cs. All right. And so, as you can see, this was doing kind of the same thing. So, down and then a vertical line to the top side. Down, flat, vertical line to the top side. Okay, so if you compare the two pictures, all right, they're kind of the same thing. Right, you see that? Okay, so you got your 25Cs skyrocketing, and then you got your 20Cs skyrocketing. Okay, is DFV back? Right, that's what you got to ask yourself. And this looks like he is. Hopping onto the flow alerts, all right? Just want to show you this one. So I sorted the net premiums by a little over 10,000. So I put it at 30,000 just to be, just to so we can filter it, because if we don't, then you're just gonna see all these random trades. Now, if you look, 25 C's, 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 21 put. Someone got scared and was like, "Oh shit! I saw someone building up these 25s. I gotta get rid of them." So, anyways, you're looking at this, and you're like, "Hold on a minute. Someone's building something." All right. There's a 110 day to expire. 25 call. Okay. Now let's dive into it. Okay. Someone has been purchasing these. And this is going to be a very interesting week next week. Okay. Because the week after this, right, when we caught this move, okay, when we caught this move, a week later, DFV posted his YOLO update. So look, all this is just very, very interesting. Right now, the price action sits at 22.48, which we will discuss in a second. But just looking at this, like, how can you not be bullish, guys? How can you not? Okay. The IV sits at 76.2. Okay, so it's up 4.6. So it's still somewhat relatively low on the downside, right? This is on a normal stock, this is considered elevated, but it's right now, it's sort of moderate, okay, like what it says here. Because back in, if you were there for May, IV was shot into the hundreds, 200s. I think maybe at one point it was 300. I'm not really sure, but definitely at least 200. So, things are building up. There's a lot of pressure right now. So looking at this on the daily, okay, so I'm going to bring this up. So when you get your Fibonacci's, okay, so from your fib low to your fib high, or sorry, wick low to your wick high, you get your Fibonacci's, okay? So GME has held the golden pocket 4 times, okay? 1, 2, 3, and then I circled 4 question mark. Some people were laughing in the comments. It did go down to this zone right here, and we are seeing a bounce, okay? So this is what we're seeing right now. All right, so let's just draw that super quickly right here. So you got your 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So that's very interesting. So this zone shows a lot of support, okay? And if you look at the previous action right here, right, there's a lot of support in that area too, right? Before it did break below. So that's bullish. Now, GME was struggling to break sort of this area right here. Okay, so if you do take your Fibonacci from your high to your low, generate fibs to the upside, you can see that GME is around that golden pocket zone. Okay, so if we look at a little bit of a smaller time frame here on the 90 minutes, okay, you can see that GME has struggled to get above this zone. Okay, and it's trying again. So if you are able to break above this, what I want to see is a gap fill close, right? And just GME try to hold 22.96 and push further to 23.80. Now those are not our top side fib targets. This is just on the smaller time frame. Okay, so let's delete that. Now let's get rid of this too. Actually, let's just hide it. Okay, so over here, if you take your Fibonacci's to the upside, so you take your high down to your low, it's not going to be super accurate, but I'm just going to just make an educated guess. 1770 or something, right? Whatever. It's just a couple cents difference. So what you're looking at is $24, okay? That's your first line of resistance here. And we know it's resistance because we've had a rejection right here and right here. Okay. and I'm sure it tried to get above here, but it couldn't. So you have areas to look at, and that's 24. Okay. Once you break 24, okay, you have a clear shot to 29. Okay, 29 as well also holds areas of resistance. Okay, right here. And then if you do move across the screen over here on this side, as you can see, areas of resistance right here. Okay. After you break 29, okay, you have another clear shot of heading to the 0.5 and the golden pocket. But we'll discuss that at a later video when we do get to that point and where the top side targets are. But we do have, all I'm going to say is that there is a max extension at $144. Okay, from this move. Okay, so just try to keep that in mind. So the next part that I want to discuss is Metric Pro and Metric Pro Plus. So this is on the 90-minute. We'll hop back onto the daily time frame here, and let's get rid of this. So let's just take a, actually let's zoom a little bit more back on the weekly. Okay, I'll remove this yellow line just so we're not confused. So on the weekly, all right, we have this indicator. Okay, it's a custom made indicator. You won't be able to find it, but send me a DM or head over to the link on patreon.com/ZeroTrades, and you can gain access to this and the Discord alongside using unusual whales. So let's look at this for a second, okay? When you're above this indicator, okay, it indicates a bullish move to the upside. Or if you're below, it indicates a bearish move to the downside. The moment you break either trend, okay, that's when a reversal happens. Okay, so what I mean by this is that over here, let's zoom in over here. Okay, so you started here, okay, and you broke above, okay. When you broke above, factored in at least almost an 11% move, okay. When you broke below, okay, factored in almost a 5% move. Now this is just on the smaller, you know, like nothing's really happening, I'm pretty sure, in these months, but that's all right. You can still play it. So looking over here, when you did break above it, okay, that did lead to a 22% move. And over here, that was another 15%. Okay, so what you want to see of this indicator is a strong candle close above, if you're going to the top side, say like this, okay, where it's not touching the line at all. So you want a clean break above or below Metric Pro Plus. Okay, that will indicate a strong move to the upside. Now, let's take a look here. Okay, this was August 2012. Metric Pro Plus broke above, or price broke above Metric Pro Plus here. Okay, so we started seeing some moves to the upside. It did test it down here. Okay, but that's again where you set your stop loss. That's another discussion for another time. But when you broke above, you made your move to the top side, and this was, if you took a position right here, that was almost a 176% move. 176% move. Okay, that lasted almost a whole year. Okay, and then when you did break below, okay, if you stopped out over here, you would have been down at least 20%. Okay, so, and then the last time that it did break it was November 2015, and it didn't see the light of day until like 5 years later. Like, let's just look at this, right? So I broke below Metric Pro Plus, minus 93%, right? So let's look to the top side. Okay, I'm sure you can figure this one out. Metric Pro, or the price was, teetering and trying to break above, right? But it was on that line, okay? But I couldn't do it. Look at what happened when it broke above Metric Pro Plus, okay, and it had a clean break. Let's take a look at what happened. It led to some significant gains here, folks. So take your wick low. Okay, it doesn't really matter. But over here, and you would have seen an 8,575% move to the top side. Okay. Now you're just saying, okay, you know what? That was a big event. Everyone was pouring in, blah, blah, blah. It's not natural. Okay, well then let's just look more towards this side then. Okay, because there is still some plays to be made. Look. This was a almost 50% move to the downside. Okay, and then when you did break above, okay, and we have other indicators that can catch this move from the bottom. But let's just say you're just playing on the weekly. You're just not so much of a risky person, okay? And you take a position right here. That's 45% move to the upside. Okay. A move below took you down another 45%. Okay. Then when you finally broke above, that led to a 43% move. Okay. So in total, these two were almost a rough 80% gain. Okay. Now let's take a look at what happened when it broke to the downside again. It broke to the downside and you saw a negative or minus 71% move. Okay. Again, you did try to break above it several times. Okay, but failed. Ultimately, on the week of the 29th in April, okay, you saw another candle testing it. Okay. And then all of a sudden, well, everyone knows DFV came back and everything. Stock went to the, went to the moon. So, but you can see here, and you can catch that move. Okay, so if you did get in at $16, right, that would have been a 284% move to the top side on an almost 300% move. All right, and this is on the weekly. So far, okay, it's been supported. And it's tested it several times. Now we're seeing a nice move to the top side. Okay. Now let's take a look on the daily. Let's take a look here. Okay. And let's see where we could have made some gains or stopped out. Okay. So this move right here. Okay. You may have stopped out here, okay? But let's just assume, okay, that you didn't. This was about a 30% move to the top side. Okay? Now these low candles here, this one you would have seen at least almost 9, and this one about 8. Okay? So if you combine all of these, that's pretty big. Now if you took a position, okay, when you saw another candle break above here, this was at 1248. Okay. You would have seen a nice move to the top side. Around 420%. So with that being said, okay, and you kind of just play this wave and you wait. Let's say you did get stopped out here. Okay, and you waited for a downside to finish. That was a minus 22% move, right? Tested Metric Pro Plus again. Okay, before breaking out again. Okay, now these were a little bit on the smaller side, so it wasn't that much, but that was 10. And this one was also 10. Okay, so these two moves together, these were 20%, okay, in a span of almost like just less than a week or two. 20%. Now, we look to where we are today. And we have been trying to get a nice, remember earlier I told you, we need to see something like this, okay? Obviously, this was snubbed during earnings, okay? Not a big deal. It's all good. Okay, but we need to get that clean breakout, okay, that looks like this. where it's not touching the line. Okay, once it can get above, okay, and it's not touching the line, that's when we'll see for sure some upside confirmation. Okay, now this week we'll be opening somewhere here, which is definitely above this line. And that is really bullish. So in short, the way you read this indicator is anytime the stock is above, it's bullish, and below, it's bearish, okay? You can apply the same concepts. Again, these indicators are not moving averages, okay? They're calculated in a totally different way, okay? But you can look at the 50 and 200 moving average as well. Okay, and you're seeing they're saying the same thing too. Okay. So if you were playing this, why isn't it? Okay, well, the crosses aren't showing. That's fine. But you got a bear cross right here. Okay. Fell lower and continue to fall lower. And when you did break this 50 moving average, okay, you would expect to at least test the top side here of the 200 moving average, which you did. Rejected, okay, fell back down. And when it tried to break above again, didn't have enough steam, right? And it fell lower. Okay, but the moment it broke above the 50 and the 200, then we started to see some fireworks, right? You got your golden cross here, and we just are about testing it right here. We haven't fully touched it, right? And so what that kind of looks like, I'll show you a better example. This right here, you had a golden cross, okay, in 2020. And so these moving averages are, you know, sloping upwards. Over here, you got your death cross. Okay, but before that death cross, you saw a test of the 200 moving average at a nice strong push to the upside. So applying the same concept here, right? You got your golden cross. Now it hasn't touched the 200 moving average. Maybe the 200 moving average moves up like this, right? And the 50 kind of moves up like this. Price goes up like this, right? Then eventually at some point, right? We're not going to get there yet, but at some point this price will have to test this 200 moving average. Okay? But we're not quite there yet. That's a story for a different time. What I want to show you right now is it's above the 50. Okay? On the daily, price is above the 50 moving average. Okay, let's just see the last times that we were above the 50 moving average. Okay, so it was here. Here. But what I want to see is where you had your golden cross and it was above the 50, right? So these were below. So this one was above the 50. Okay, but it didn't have that much of a move. This was above the 50 here, and you saw a move to the upside. And over here, golden cross and is above the 50. This was a weak point. Okay, here. So you got your quote unquote golden cross, right? Price fell below the 50, and then when it did reclaim the 50, it saw a little bit more of a push to the upside. And that was about 10%. But I just wanted to showcase you what it can do. It's not perfect, right? It's not perfect, but that's just what it is. But going back to Metric Pro, Metric Pro Plus, okay, so the one in the yellow is a little bit more reactive. Okay, you can catch these moves a lot quicker. So I would have taken an entry probably somewhere right here, right at 11:11, maybe even at 11:01. That's where I would have made my first move. But you can play these on the 10 minutes, 15 minutes. and you can see exactly where to exit and enter, right? So during this topside move where it started to, you saw a huge gap up, right? And you weren't sure where to exit. The moment price fell below metric pro here, that's where I would probably stop out. Okay, you could enter back here again. I'm not going to stop you, right? But those still led to some nice quality upside moves. And then you saw a gap to the downside, right? And you're like, so that was about 26%. So catch the move before it happens. And that's what this indicator basically does for you. You can catch any move before it happens. And so that brings us to where we are today. We are in the 15-minute time frame. Okay, so as you can see here, the times where we were above the yellow line and the purple line, we saw some upside moves. It's not big. Well, this one was bigger, right? But this is just looking on the 15 minutes, right? So it's led to some quality upside moves on the 15-minute time frame. But looking at the bigger picture, right? So this is the 90 minutes. So if you're playing this just before earnings, look, this is your bear signal right here. Okay, that's your cue. Something's going haywire to the downside, of course, because it's below. And then when you did break above, right here, okay, you saw some nice move or nice moves to the upside. That was about almost 15%. Okay. So we continue to stay above. That's bullish. And on the daily, if you combine all these concepts together, okay, you're trying to break out. You're trying to break out right here. Okay, again, this was snubbed during earnings, which is whatever, it is what it is. Okay, but over here, you're trying to break out. Okay, over here at the start of April, okay, you kind of did the same thing. You were trying to break out. Right? And then when you actually did, it led to some quality upside moves. So again, I'm super bullish. Not financial advice, obviously. But if you look at the things, right? If you look at this, right? And you look at this, I think he's back, folks. I think he's back. And that's pretty much it. So again, for the top side moves, I'm looking at 24, 29. Breaking above that would be pretty crazy. And then you're pretty much targeting all-time highs and 140 after breaking 39, 40 range, the golden pocket range, and these prior highs. So as long as we stay above here, that's really bullish, and we already know that 19 and 20 serves as a really strong point of support. So we'll see you folks maybe on Monday. We'll throw up the stream, but we'll be tracking this all week. All right. Have a good night, and we'll see you later.